You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collecting Center. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. We'll show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to Jeff when we got the fans. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and memes, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing the song to the break of dawn. Gonna run this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collecting Center. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. We'll show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Season 2, Episode number 27 of the PlayStation Collectors Podcast. And tonight, we've got Charger Mike on the show. Welcome to the show, Mike. How you going?
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it's really good to see you, man. And we've also got D Street back as replacement host for the night. Joe's out with
Nice.
work too, so D Street's coming back. So welcome back, D Street.
Thanks for having me again, and happy to fill in whenever needed.
It's always good to see you. And Mike, tell us who you are, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your collection.
Well, I'm here I live here in the Midwest. I'm actually a transplant from Southern California, but I've been living here for 30 years now. So, yeah, it's been. I'm probably I gotta be probably one of your oldest guests so far. I'm guessing. So, if there's anyone older than 53.
I don't keep track of everyone's ages, I'll be honest. So,
All right. Well, yeah. So, I've been doing this video game thing for a while, and just been kind of collecting through the years. So, yeah, it's been a while. So,
it's good to see you, mate. We've known each other for close to a decade now, so it's good to have you on the show.
yeah,
So what
yeah.
do you-
We go back quite a ways. I remember when I started first collecting for the PS3. I got on with the PS3 collectors page there on Facebook, and that's when it all kind of broke loose. We started talking with each other and got to know some more people, and before you know it, it was just I was just buying games left and right, and it just got out of control, man. I was just having too much fun collecting. So, and and before I knew it, I was up to about 1,500 PS3 games. So,
I think you nailed it on the head, though. It was fun, and like when we first started, that whole community was just so fun. Everyone was encouraging each other after seeing our pickups, and one person would pick up a game and they'd be like, "Oh, I got it from this guy, and if you guys want it, I'll sort you out with copies." And then we all end up with copies, and that was good fun.
right, is the one guy. Well, the one guy that really got me going, TJ. He was the guy that just, he was just always breaking out with the cool shit. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta have that. And he's like, yeah, he'd hook me up with games and stuff. And if he had a lead on a game I was looking for, I mean, yeah, TJ, really cool dude. Really cool dude. We've had some, we exchanged some games and stuff like that in the past. And yeah, that's pretty much where it all started. It was like a daily thing, I'd have to get on the page, see what else he got. He'd bust out with some fucking cool game. Oh God, he was always on top of it, So it was fun, and that's what made the hunt really fun. Always looking for those hard to find, the hard to find PS3 games. So
Yeah, the games that don't show up anymore.
Right. Yeah. Never. Yeah. So I mean, there's all kinds of I mean, you just basically see the commons nowadays. So,
Yeah, you go
but
to any local game store when you start out with the PS3 section. If the store does keep them alphabetically, you'll just see the A section. There may be like 2 rows that's just filled with Assassin's Creed, and then the C section. Eventually, you get to the Call of Duties.
It's like
they're
a
all
keep sports section and
right. All
Mhm.
sports games, right? Right.
Yep.
yeah.
All EA. So
It really
yeah.
is like that. And then all the white cases of the black spines. You don't see all the colored spines and everything like that.
Exactly.
So, Mike, apart from PS3, anything else that you collect?
Yeah. Well, when before that, it was once in a while picking up. I've got a I've got a pretty small PS1 collection, and then I started collecting PS2 a little bit. But I mean, I was picking up games here and there for PS1, PS2, and when I started in on the PS3, once I started going hardcore on PS3, I was picking up a little bit of PS1, PS2 here and there. But those my PS1 and PS2 collections aren't as big as the PS3, but I've kind of got more. I think I've got just for the PS1 and PS2, there were just games that I really wanted, so I wasn't going after a collection or a big collection as far as that. But when I got into the PS3 is when I seriously started, uh, thinking about collecting a whole set, and then I got way in over my head. I'm like, there's no way. So so pretty much so I just went after the ones I really wanted and the hard to find ones, and yeah, and then when the PS4 came out, I was a little bitter because the PS4 wasn't backwards compatible with the PS3. I'm like, well, that's bullshit. Why did Sony do that? Sony could have easily made that happen, and so I'm like, I'm not gonna buy a PS4. Fuck that shit. I'm just gonna sit here and collect the PS3, and but eventually I came around. Well, God of War came out, so I'm like, oh, now I got to get a PS4. So then after that happened, once I got my PS4, that game on, that was on. So then I started collecting PS4 after that, and I stopped collecting PS3. So
PS4
yeah,
library
so
today.
so I went that far. I'm still collecting PS4 here and there. It's slowly dwindling where I'm not collecting as much, but of course I don't have a PS5 yet. I haven't
Yep.
dove into that pool yet, right? So, but so I've got I don't know 300-400 PS4 games, but I went hard on the PSVR1, so I've got pretty much a full PSVR1 collection, except for maybe a couple Japanese titles, the Baseball Juku
Yep.
titles, because they came out with like 4 of them or something, like 4 or 5 of them, different years. But yeah,
And
I
they're all
went pretty
expensive
hard on
to
that.
get,
So
not cheap import.
right, and yeah, that's another thing. But yeah, so and then it's been kind of slowing down lately. So
No, that's
but,
fair.
yeah,
They're
it's been
definitely
fun.
they're slowing down with the PSVR releases. So if you are doing the full set, it is, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel on like a full PS4 set or a full limited run game set or something like that.
Right. Well, now they're coming out with PSVR2 physicals, but not as much, right? Just here and there and here and there. One here, one there. It's not hasn't ramped up like the PSVR1 did. So
What I noticed
PSVR1.
today is if a game gets a physical release, people are like, oh, this game's getting a physical. Like that's a thing today. Where back in the day it was a thing if a game didn't get a physical release. Now it's just the
Yeah,
norm.
it's got to be like headlines on news articles now that hey, this small indie game is getting an a physical release, or now it is another side of the spectrum is a situation like Alan Wake 2, no physical release at
Yeah.
all. But maybe wait like later down the road if someone like Limited Run decides to step up. Hey, because you guys are so cheap, we'll do the physical release for Alan Wake 2 if that ever happens.
It's pretty extreme. I was watching a trailer for a new Sony game, a new horror game they just announced, and like the comments are, "Is this game going to get a physical copy?" Like, it's a AAA game, and people don't even know if they're going to be able to buy a disc for it. And then if you can buy a disc for it, is it going to be on the disc? Will it be there day one? Different things like that.
Well, it's like you were saying a couple shows back, the whole, you go into Best Buy now and it's just like, it's a graveyard. There ain't nothing there. I mean, it's just got those little cards, right? All these little purchase cards. You buy the game purchase cards digitally. So I think that's, of course, Best Buy, it looks like they're done dealing with that. But I guess they're going to still sell games, maybe? I don't know. I know they're done with the movie thing, right? The DVD thing that they're done with.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
done
it seems like the start of early next year, it's mainly DVDs, Blu-ray movies, and CDs that they are stopped doing physicals of, but expect like video games overall will eventually get phased out at Best Buy.
Yeah. The last game I bought at Best Buy, I think it was like 5 months ago, Gran Turismo 7. And I went and got Gran Turismo 7. That's only because a couple buddies wanted to race online. So I'm like, all right. So I raced out there to Best Buy. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, there was just nothing there. I mean, they had like a couple copies of Gran Turismo 7. And I was pretty shocked because it'd been a long time since I actually went into a Best Buy before then. Because, I buy most of my games online, so.
And it's easier to just buy games online. You're getting a sealed copy. If there's a problem,
it's just
you can send it back, and you'll get what you want because the buyer's got all the say when you're buying it online.
That's right.
Yeah,
they've almost made that experience that good that we don't want to go to GameStop anymore. You don't want to line up and have to go out into public and deal with an employee and different things like that, which is crazy to me because that used to be the most fun, going out buying stuff in the wild.
Yeah, there was of like recently of people just been starting out say like threads of saying, so what do you guys prefer, physical or digital? When the digital pros come in and they are like daring us to say like, why is a physical better than digital? Well, there's plenty of reasons why physical is better, because it's not just the idea of, hey, I own this game physically on a disc and nobody can come into my house and take it away from me unless you got a burglar coming in, of course, which hopefully doesn't happen. But if you say like it is like a game, say like tomorrow, Spider-Man 2 and Super Mario Wonder is coming out tomorrow here in the States at least. If some stores they are going to have like midnight launches, you go to those stores, you like interact with many different people that they are just as looking forward to the game as you are. You may potentially make friends there. Who knows? You're making memories at the end of the day if you go to something like this. And also, if it is like an older game that is no longer being printed, you find it in a pawn shop, and yet it's a game that costs how much on the secondhand market, and you picked it up for $5. That's all memories right there. Like for me is when I picked up Africa on PS3. It didn't have the manual, but it was the case and the disc for like $5, and you know how much that goes online these days.
Or like that Barbie game, you'll never find that online for the price you found it. That'll just never happen because
I'm never going to get that lucky ever again. But who knows? I do live very close to Canada, so who knows that it'll randomly show up in a random pawn shop around me if I'm the first one that sees it.
Spot on, but I think it's a generational thing. If you talk to a 20-year-old kid, it's hard to convince them that physical is better than digital. In their heads, digital is the way forward. I don't think they've grasped the concept behind, you know, I can sell my video games if I need to, and it's money, and like that's a thing because I've put the money in, I can pull it out. You buy Steam games for 10 years, guess what? Your Steam account, you can't sell that. I mean, you can
can't,
illegally sell it, but you can't legally sell it. You can't just go on eBay and sell it and get money tomorrow. You can go on the black market and do it. But like, you know, you can with these physical things. They're not just, it's not just a token you've bought, it's an actual item. It'd be like buying a real house or buying a virtual house.
Right.
It's another
I think
thing with
I think the kids growing up nowadays, they just don't really care about that anymore. You know?
or they just
It's
don't
just
understand.
it's a whole new mentality. It's not like
Exactly,
when
yeah.
we were growing up. You know? So
They just can't grasp the idea that these digital stores that they're buying these games from, you don't own it. You're just renting it in reality, because you'll still be able to like play this game, but until the digital storefront that you bought it from, when it goes away, and if that game is not downloaded on your system anymore, you can't get it anymore. So hope all of like the thousands of dollars you invested on PSN or XBL, wherever you buy your digital console games from, well, it's just those stores, of course, but kiss all that goodbye if your system dies or your hard drive / SSD dies in your systems. There's no other way to get it.
Get banned or something, and
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
you're spot on that they aren't aware. Like it's not an ignorant thing. They're just not aware of it. I worked in a pawn shop, and this happened probably 6 or 7 times that I had young 18, 19, 20-year-old kids coming in with their PS4 or their Xbox One going, yeah, I've got 50 games I've downloaded on that thing. How much can I get for it? And it's like, well, I'm going to give you the price of the console because that's not how it works. And like they
No.
didn't know until you're explaining it. And you almost see them getting angry, like behind, oh, I've been ripped off. But unfortunately, that's how it is these days.
Yep.
yeah, because like Dee was saying, I mean, you can buy, as long as you buy that game, you can keep downloading it. But when the servers go down or the network goes down, you've still got it on your hard drive. But if your hard drive dies, you're done. It's over. No more. You don't have that game anymore because there's no way to get it back. If your hard drive gets corrupt or something, done. There's no way to get that back. And like you said, because right now I'm kind of in the mode right now. I'm still kind of trying to get all that DLC, that PS3 DLC that I missed out or I never bought. I'm still, it's a slow process, but I'm still chipping away at that stone, trying to get some of this DLC because it's just a matter of time now. The Xbox 360 is closing down. PS3 is going to be right next to it. PS3 is going
It'll
down.
be pretty close.
But they
Yeah.
want to.
PS3 is going down. Yeah, that's going to be over here real quick. So, memo to everybody that missed out on any of that DLC. I mean, now's the time to get it. The one thing that does piss me off about PSN is like all the DLC and all the games, they're all full price. Nothing is discounted on the PSN, on PS3. Come on, man.
The last time they did have any discounts, because if you go to the website PS Deals, that's what I use to like keep track of when sales goes on and even histories of any deals on PSN. You look at the PS3 section, a lot of the games, the last time they had any type of sale was back in sometime in mid 2019 for a lot of the ones that I've seen.
Damn. Yeah, I know. I was like, I go, I'm looking at all this DLC. It's like, there's a lot of DLC I want, like bundle packs and stuff like that, costume packs and all that, $15, $16, $10, $15. I'm like, come on, man. This shit is like
no
ancient.
reason
Yeah.
today they shouldn't all be like 99 cents for games that aren't making money
Right.
anymore. Where they can still sell something. You put them all for 99 cents, and guys like you and me are going to go and buy them, and probably they'll make more money than if they kept them at this price.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But while we're on this topic, one thing that you should absolutely not buy on the PS3's online store is a game called Bionic Rearmed 2, because if you do buy that, you try to download it, you get an error message. And it's been a known thing for like a year or 2 years that some type of DRM that Capcom put into that game that they no longer have their servers up or whatever it is to authenticate your license that you bought on the PS3 store. So therefore, this error keeps happening. I learned that the hard way.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I'm trying to think if I ever bought that game. It sounds familiar. I'd have to check my library, but yeah,
The
I
only
don't
way
know.
you can have it on your PS3 is if you download it before whenever this error started happening. So, if you
Oh,
replace the hard drive in your PS3 and you had to re-download all your stuff, well, you can't get that downloaded again. So, sucks to be you if you bought that. Sadly, I bought
oh,
that. I didn't know about that at all. So, thanks for stealing $10 from me, Sony and Capcom.
damn. That sucks.
Why am
But
I
like,
talking about physical prices? Let's just talk about AAA games for a second. So a AAA game, let's say it's released physically. Let's use Gran Turismo 7 or Horizon Zero Dawn or something, for example. It comes out, it's full price for a little bit. It drops quickly. But 2 years later, that game's $10, $15. It's on every single shelf everywhere. Digitally, it's half price or full price. You don't get $5, $10 games digitally unless it pops up on PS Plus for the month. You're still paying $30, $40 for these games. That's where, people don't understand you're not saving money in the long run doing this. Collecting can be cheap if you're doing it on I'm buying a AAA game 2 years later and I'm going to keep buying the $5, $10 games. You can't do that digitally. It isn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
right.
I may
Well,
do
and
that
I
for
think that
Spider-Man 2 tomorrow because I don't need to play it right now, even though that's probably going to be the biggest PS5 game for how long? Like, I'm not in a rush to play it. I still have to play the previous 2 games first, anyways. So,
right.
That's a good example. Spider-Man 2 will be a game that you'll be able to pick up cheap soon. Like I picked up Miles Morales for $7. You can't buy Miles Morales for $7 on the PSN store. Not in a million years.
Right. Yeah. That's another thing that burns my ass is these companies. They want to sell a digital copy for the same amount for a physical copy. I've never understood that. That is so stupid because there's no physical production involved, but they want to sell it for the same price. Well, if you can buy the physical cheaper, why would you even buy the digital?
Yeah.
I don't understand their logic sometimes with that. So I don't know, they're weird,
Sometimes it's more expensive than the physical.
right?
mhm.
That's right.
I seen this is a complete FOMO tactic. I seen it wasn't for a video game, it was for a pay-per-view, but same thing, you're buying something digitally. And they advertised it as sold out. You sold out of a digital thing. That doesn't make any sense.
What the hell is that about? You can't sell out a digital.
No, it was just
That's
a FOMO.
crazy.
It was an
tactic.
NFT
It was
back
for the
then.
Logan Paul fight, and he advertised it as sold out. One of them tweeted, like, you can't sell out a pay-per-view. It's not a thing.
Ridiculous.
Well, that's the world we're in 2023, and unfortunately, I don't want to know what video games are going to look like in 10 years. How are we going to be buying games in 10 years? Are we going to have new PS5 or whatever it will be, PS6 games in the future, or will it just be like we've been speculating, limited run buying licenses of certain games and printing old copies and doing it like that?
Yeah, it's. I think it's good. We could just be all digital, all Steam. It's going to be all just Steam,
Well-
and then, like you said, these independent physical companies will be, making physical copies for different games. So
Well, who knows what it'll be in the next 10 years, but the best thing that we can do right now is just keep showing your support for these companies. If it is like a game that you really, really, really want, then buy it whenever you can to show support that you do want this medium to still be alive. But let's say maybe like 10, 15 years later, who knows that there might be a sudden surge, not massive, but a slow increase of physical sales for games. And I compare that when we look at vinyl records. That whole field has been increasing every single year, that it's gotten to the point where it has outsold CDs now. And it's gotten to where there is a market for it now, and even big corporations that never like even bother printing CDs, they're printing vinyl because they see that market is slowly growing. Who knows if we'll ever have a situation like that for video games in the future, or where, say, like the current younger generations, they get older and they realize there's many other avenues in this whole industry to experience games, and they may discover that physical gaming might be something they want to get into. Who knows, that will maybe have a increase in sales for it. So it's going to have to be we'll have to wait and see how all parties involved handle this whole situation. But for us, like I said, all we can do is just show support whenever you can for the games that you want to buy physically.
Records is a good example, because like records, they're not just bringing out old records, they're bringing out records for modern artists. Like an artist that released an album a couple of months ago on the Billboard Top 100, you can go and buy their record, which is cool, because it brings in, young people can go and buy, their favorite Taylor Swift record or different things like that, and gets them into collecting, which would then maybe get them into collecting the older stuff.
Yeah.
And that's great for, collectors, right? Like, that's something I wanted to bring up too. If we do go down the road of, a digital video game world, well, the good thing is there's tens of thousands of video games that are already out there physically. I'm not really into collecting PS5, but I'm more into collecting for the PS1 these days. And the fact that there are many games to buy, I can focus more on going back into those older systems and buying those older games that I still want to own and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's even the PS1 is kind of out of control these days. You're right.
Yeah, these days it can be one of the most expensive libraries you can buy, because so much of the most well-known games on that system are at least $100. So you add it up over time, and the amount of games that you want to get on that system, it can very well be one of the most expensive systems you'll ever invest in today, sadly.
Yeah, I'm glad I've got my PS1 that I have, because there's no way I'd be able to afford it now. There's no way I'd be able to go after the PS1 games that I have now. There's just no way.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got to remember that the PS1 came out in 1995. So, we're at that age where people who had a PS1 are hitting that age in their life where, they have dispensable money and they want to buy things that make them nostalgic and things like that. So that's why the PS1 prices are so expensive. You're going to find in 10 years that it'll be exactly the same for, GameCube, PS2, Game Boy Advance, maybe even moving into the PS3 age with, kids that grew up with these systems going, hey, I want my childhood again. And, when you want to rebuy your childhood, you don't really have limits on how much you want to spend, because nostalgic is something that it's like a drug. You want that nostalgia. And that's why I see PS1 going so crazy today. Nintendo 64 is the same. N64 is crazy today because it's so nostalgic for 30, 40, 45-year-olds to go back and buy games that they had as a kid.
And it's just so hard to emulate 64, right? Isn't that just because I know I've got a Raspberry Pi, and I've got a 64 emulator on there, and it just runs like crap. It just doesn't run well at all. Some of them, you can kind of play them, but a lot of stuttering, and the sounds choppy or sounds cutting out, and so it's always been. I think 64 has always been kind of notoriously hard to emulate. So
to get 100% accurate emulation, you're right.
Yeah.
When it came to say audio problems, well, that can fall back to because they decided to go with cartridges at the time compared to CDs, which obviously is much superior for audio quality. But there's also, it's something with how the system handled anti-aliasing, or something, other things with how it handled its graphical fidelity, that it's just hard to really emulate properly, especially when it comes to like reflections. Say, like for example, in Ocarina of Time, whenever you pick up like a ruby and he holds it up in the air, the way that like, it reflects around that I know is like really difficult to emulate correctly. That's why when you play through emulation, it just looks really off, you know. Even when Nintendo themselves ports it to other systems, you can tell it just seems off a little bit. So even like Nintendo themselves have issues of trying to nail it 100%, you know, compared to their NES and SNES libraries, which how can you screw those up?
Look at the complaints behind the GoldenEye port. You know, one of the best games of all time, and they can't port it because it's one of those things. It's always going to be played better than N64.
And that's the one game that I wanted to play on this emulator, and it just runs like shit. You know, I'm like, God damn, the one game. And it just, it's all choppy, and the frame rate's all jacked up.
The frame rate was always just ridiculously low back then too. Just
right.
We're just so used to every game 60 FPS, or for my case, many years I was playing on PC, so I was already at like 144 FPS for all my games or above. And just going back to the N64, it's like, oh my god, this is just not fun. It's not comfortable playing it as much as I did back then. You know, I never had an N64, but it's a trip. But then again, you realize they did design the games with that frame rate in mind. That's why, for like a good example, games like Donkey Kong 64, if there's some sections where if you have the frame rate set to like 60 FPS, it's more difficult because like the way for like how fast the enemies can attack you, it's just difficult to react to fast enough to get out of the way. Well, if it was running at a lower frame rate, the game was running slower, so that way it was easier. So,
like slow motion mode or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, I got another topic we wanted to talk about today, and that is why do we collect sealed video games? Now, all collectors have their own opinion on sealed video games, and I know you guys are both completely different as I am, so I'd like to hear each of his opinions. So, Mike, have you got any sealed games? Why do you have them? And yeah, let's talk about it.
Oh yeah, I got quite a few sealed games, and and the thing is that when I first bought the sealed games, I had no intention of like keeping it sealed. You know, I figured I'd get around to playing it sometime, right? You know, but I just wanted a nice copy. That was the deal, because I bought a lot of jacked up used copies, you know, and I'm really freaking anal when it comes to my copies. You know, I want nice cases, I want nice manuals, nice discs, not scratched, right? And so I'll just spend the extra cash and get a nice sealed copy. And well, I get it, and there it goes on the show. I'll get to that. I'll play it sometime, and it's like snowball effect. I keep buying these sealed games, and I have every intention to play them, but get by 2 years later, and they're still there, and they're still sealed. You know, I mean, I wasn't like buying this. I'm going to buy this sealed game to keep it sealed. It was, I had every intention of playing it. I never got around to playing it, so now it's still sealed, you know. So, I mean, that's just the way, you know, because I always wanted nice copies. I've had, of course, when I going through the whole PS3 era, you know, I was buying jacked up copies here and there, you know. Well, I always, of course, the Blu-ray discs, they're very, you know, they wouldn't get scratched and everything, but you come up with kind of wrinkled manuals, and some cases would be jacked up, and of course I'd go out. I think I was real anal about my collection. I went out and bought like $300-400 worth of brand new cases, so I'd have them, and I'd have I'd put all my games in plastic sleeves and stuff like that, little protector sleeves and stuff like that. I even did that with my manuals. As a matter of fact, Figsy, you've got one that TJ sold you, and that was one that I gave to TJ. It's got the little manual. I can't remember what game it was. You showed it one.
It's the only game I have that has a manual protector, and it is awesome. Yes. I love it.
That's it. And I remember watching that video, and I was like, holy shit, that's the one I gave TJ because TJ sold it to you. I can't remember what game it was, but yeah, I went all anal. I put like, little protectors on all my manuals, and had to put the game in the plastic, and all my games had to be nice, and that was part of the fun for me actually, was getting a jacked up game. Maybe the artwork was a little crinkled or something, and the case was jacked up and dented and destroyed. And part of the fun was actually fixing it up and making it look good, right? And fixing up the manual, making it look nice, putting all the things in the brand new case, and so that was kind of that was the fun for me, bringing in these busted up games and making them look new again, So but yeah, as far as the sealed thing, I mean, like I said, it kind of turned out that way, where I bought them and had every intention of playing them, and just never got around to it. But and then with time, it's kind of like, well, now they're this much money, so now I can't open it, right? I mean, you don't want to open something that maybe you could sell it down the road for a profit, So that's pretty much how I went about it.
It's an interesting feeling because, like, you never would have bought it in the first place with the intentions of making profit. It's not what we got into collecting for.
Right, exactly. I like at the time that was not my intention. My intention was to play the game, and I'll get to it. Oh, maybe I'll play it next week, and then you buy some other game, right? You're like, I want to play this game, So that's the one big problem I've got, and I'm really bad at, is I'll start something, I'll get like 8 to 10, 15, 20 hours into it, and then I'll stop playing it, and I'm like, okay, I'll go back to it, and I never go back to it, and then I'll go and I'll start another game, and I'll play that for a while, and then I won't go back to that. I've got like all kinds of games right now that are down on my PS4, like the bigger games that I haven't finished yet, because you just get sidetracked, or life gets in the way, and eventually I'm gonna get back to them, but don't know when. So
there's only so many 100-hour RPGs or open world games you can play,
Right.
When a new game drops every Friday, like there's 2 games coming out today, Spider-Man 2 and the new Mario. I'm gonna play them both, but when am I going to find the time to play these games among all the other games I want to play? It's hard.
Right. Oh, dude, I haven't even finished Spider-Man 1 yet. I'm probably 50 hours, 60 hours into that game. I still haven't finished it. So it's still down there waiting for me to get back into it, so.
As big as our backlogs is on the 24th, still going to buy the MGS Master Collection and play through those games like the 30th time compared to playing other games in the backlog. I can't help it. It's a series that is so close to me that that if a new release comes out, okay, everything else, go down into the corner, and like, you guys don't exist at all. Yeah, I know I promised I'd be playing this, but I can't help it at all.
I personally won't buy the trilogy. I'll only buy Metal Gear Solid 3 because I've played them on PS3. It's the same game. The only game that's actually getting the new treatment is Metal Gear Solid 3. So, like the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection, I'm happy to just own that. I don't want to then go and buy the same game again, which is something I used to do a lot in the past. I'm trying to, as a collector now who's not working, doesn't have that disposable income. I don't want to be buying, it's the same game, but it's a different cover than the one I've already got. I'd rather buy a new game that I'm going to get a new experience of.
I remember one of the biggest complaints about that whole new deal was there was no MG4, Metal Gear Solid 4, right? Everybody wanted 4 because the only way to play 4 is on the PS3.
So it might come in Volume 2, possibly, if they are going to make that possibly next year. So it's like that, but I also want them to include Snatcher in Volume 2 if they ever do make it. Because I don't know if you ever played Snatcher or know about it. There is literally a character in that game called Metal Gear, and it's the
Oh, it's the little robot.
It's the little
Yeah.
robot, the Mark
Right.
II from MGS4. That was a complete reference to that, as well as Gillian Seed, the main character. His like look and that tan trench coat. That's what Old Snake wears at the start of Act 3, I think it was, when he had the face
Oh
camo.
yeah.
That whole chapter and Mark II, obviously a direct callback to Snatcher. So if they include MGS4 in Volume 2, I expect Snatcher to be there. It's nuts. So that way we can have a very affordable way to play that game officially.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
That'd be amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
People have been hamming and hawing about that deal, having let Kojima releasing it. I guess it would be Konami to release the rights to that game.
Yeah, because
To
they
get it
own
reprinted.
the
Yeah.
IP for it.
Yeah, that's
There's-
a fantastic game.
Because
I've
of
actually
the way
got
the relationship ended. It's going to be complicated regardless if they want to do it or not, which is the problem.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's so much money behind that series that we're never going to get a new one. But I'd love to see them done properly. PS
God,
a
my
full
camera
remaster
sometimes.
of Metal Gear Solid 4. Without the PS3 looking orangey screen the whole time. That would be so fantastic.
oh boy.
It's just a brand new title in that series. It's not the same at all without Kojima. Like, it's his series. He has done so many different fields of work in every single game. Like, look at the credits. How many times his name appears in different sections of the credits? He does a lot of work, not just because he's like the director. He puts his input in so many aspects to it that how is a new entry going to be the same when it's not a Metal Gear Survive thing,
I was just about to mention Metal Gear Survive. How bad of a job they did on a new entry. Like, it was terrible. But Death Stranding 2, I'm looking forward to. I know Death Stranding 1, a lot of people didn't love it, but it was a great game, and it had the whole Kojima. You could tell it was his vision because it was weird.
Yeah, you could tell it was definitely a game made by him. Or I hope people will at least appreciate that a game like Death Stranding exists with the amount of funding a game so niche like that. It was made and it got fully released like that. So hopefully, you didn't like the game, but I hope you appreciate the fact that a game on this caliber exists and it's getting a sequel too next year, possibly. But
Moving back to Seal games, I wanted to share my experience on it. So, like Mike, I'd never started out by buying Seal games. I've probably got a quarter, maybe a third of my collection of Seal today. But like Mike, I was just collecting PS3 games, and once I bought all the games in my local store, you went online to buy your games. And at the end, towards the end of the PS3 life cycle, games were cheap, and it was the fact that you go on eBay or you go on the stores and you could buy a copy for $15, $20, or you could buy a sealed copy for $21, $22. It wasn't like you're paying brand new price for these sealed games. They were practically the same price. So rather than, risking getting a damaged manual or a case that isn't perfect, I just buy the sealed one, put it on the shelf. And I used to open my games when I first bought them. I'd open all my sealed games because in my head, there was no reasoning not to have a game sealed. Games were meant to be played. I didn't understand the whole collecting sealed games for, investment purposes or different things like that. People didn't talk about it back then. Anyway, I didn't get to... One game changed that for me. And Mike, I think you got affected with this game too. So TJ brought up a game that was the Gran Turismo HD concept install disc, and it was expensive. And there were copies online. They were like $150, or you could get a sealed one for $200. And this is the one game where I'm like, I'm going to spend that extra $50 and get a sealed copy because this is rare. I'm going to have it in my collection, blah, blah. And I bought the sealed copy, and I'm pretty sure you bought one too, Mike. And they're only like free online. And fast forward 5 or 6 years, I've only seen like 4 or 5 sealed copies of this game, and I can't say I've seen one sell. So it's glad that I bought that one back in the day, sealed.
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was. I can't remember what it was. Was it 125 or 150? Somewhere in there.
It was 200 Australian, so it was probably like that American. Where it
I
was,
can't remember.
it wasn't too much more than the used copy. You're paying like $150 for a used copy,
Right.
$200 for the sealed copy. So
That's right. I think we all bought our copies at the same time. That was so funny.
Yeah, and it was funny because this game we didn't know if it existed like prior to us all owning it. And
Oh,
so
I remember when TJ first posted that thing, and we all went ape shit, right? We're like, holy crap! He's like, yeah. We're like, where did you get that, man? Where did you? Yeah, we're all like freaking out, you know. We're like, God, we gotta have that, you know. So, yeah, that was
I'll
great.
just grab it so if anyone hasn't seen what we're talking about.
Yeah, I haven't seen it ever.
Oh, I've actually.
Here it is. So it is quite special, this. So it's a cancelled Gran Turismo game. And as a PlayStation collector, Gran Turismo is one of the biggest Sony franchises, so it is quite special.
So that would have been before GT5 came out then?
Yeah,
Judging
so
by, like,
after Gran
it's the
Turismo
first
4,
case.
The idea was to make a HD Gran Turismo game for the new system. So they brought out this at a convention in Japan. It was also on the PSN store. So this includes 20 cars, one track, and it was basically a demo. But after that convention, it got cancelled, and they decided to work on Gran Turismo 5. So it got pulled off the PSN store, and only these, I believe it was 1,000 or 2,000 copies that got handed out at convention existed. Like, it's the case of like PT on PS4, where consoles that had digital copies were selling for more than normal consoles. So it's a nice piece of history to own today. You can play it. You can still jump on, play that one track with the 20 cars. Yeah, it's quite cool.
That's
That
great.
is cool, yeah.
Official banned or cancelled Gran Turismo game.
Yeah.
Quite fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, because once it got canceled, you're like, oh my God, I want to own something that I can't play anymore, right? That was the big attraction, you know.
And
Imagine
there
if
is some
DT had
nostalgia
something
to
like
it,
that.
because that actually used to be in kiosks in shops. So there's a lot of people that would have actually played that in the stores and then never played it again, forgot that it even existed, which is quite cool.
Wow.
So the thing I can talk about, my viewpoint on sealed games. So I've been like all over for sealed games. So of course, back when I was younger, like I always open my sealed games because it's not like I would get games often. They would be like my parents bought them or like Christmas gifts or birthday gifts. So of course I was going to open them because I want a new game to play.
Yeah.
Now that I have plenty of disposable income, I just bought games in droves when I started collecting. And it was when the PS5 first came out. That's when I started picking up plenty of games for it, but a lot of them were sealed. So think back when this is like before I got rid of like a decent chunk of PS5 games. I would say like 70 or 80% of the collection was sealed. And the ones that I did keep afterwards, I then opened them because like this is a game I really am interested in. So I will play it one of these days. It'll just be installed on my secondary SSD and I will play it one of these days. But nowadays for sealed games, there's only like 2 situations where I will have a sealed game, or actually 3. So the first one, most obvious for a lot of people like us, if it's like a game that came out digitally first, I'll pick it up there because it was probably on like a sale on PSN. Then a company like Limited Run said that they were doing a physical of it. Hey, I really, really, really liked that game. I want to have a physical of it. Then when that comes in, I just keep it sealed. And then a second case would be something like this, the Disco Elysium on PS5. This copy is sealed, and this is one of the more valuable PS5 games right now because I guess it was just a very limited print that I Am 8-Bit did. This is the second copy that I got of it. The first one I had, I did like had it pre-ordered on I Am 8-Bit site when it first came out in late 2020. Then when I realized it got expensive, like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to open this for now because this could be a good investment one of these days. So until I found out that it was like a few months ago, they did a reprint of this, I Am 8-Bit did. So I took that first copy, I sold it to a local game store, and they gave me the amount that it would normally sell for at the time when it was very expensive. They didn't know there was going to be a reprint.
Oh, nice.
So like you would call it real shitty of me to do, but hey, that's their fault. They didn't do research on it. And
Hey.
then Then I got pre-orders of the reprints, so I got like my money back, and then like bought games at that store that same day, and then just got this copy back in, and it is sealed. Plus, I do
Nice.
have this game on PC, anyways, which is where I would prefer to play a game like this. And plus, it is a game that, like, the year it came out, it got all sorts of like Game of the Year awards type thing. So it is like a cool title to have physically, but hey, it's just one of those cases where, yeah, I can see this game potentially becoming expensive. So I'll like hold on to it, keep it sealed, and see how the market like happens from here on out. And man, I did it right for something like that. And then the last thing is it doesn't happen often, but a game like this, Doki Doki Literature Club, this is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm not spoiling like what happens in this game for those who haven't played it, but this month is a perfect time to play this game if you haven't already. But I loved this game so much that I bought another copy to keep it sealed. And I even have sealed copies on the Switch and the PS4 as well too, because I love the game that much. I want every version of it, and at least have like one copy open, which would be like the best version of it on PS5, and just keep all the other copies sealed because I just love the game that much.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
I've got it for PS4, and don't they have like little extras in there, like a little card or something? Or I haven't opened mine yet.
Yeah, they added new like side content and like side stories basically that uh it's basically try to get you more make the characters a bit more fleshed out to get you more of the feels for them, you could say. You still have to play through like the original main campaign in order to unlock them, but all the extra stuff they added into it was really nice.
I have a question for you guys. If you had a sealed game, for example, regardless of the title, let's say the sealed version goes for $200, and you really want to play it, and the used copy goes for about $100, will you guys sell your sealed copy to buy a used copy, or will you just open that copy?
I'd probably keep my sealed and buy the used copy.
Okay.
If I
I don't
picked
know.
it up,
I mean, it depends. I mean, do I? I mean, if I really wanted to play it, I guess I guess I could sell it, but I'm not one to sell any of my games. I'd probably just buy a used copy. You know,
Actually, that's funny that you said that, because you've just reminded me of a time where I had a copy of Near Automata, or the Near Replicant, and I picked up a sealed copy, and I still wanted to play it, so I finished playing it, and then I sold my used copy and kept the sealed. And now today, if I want to replay it, I can't, because my copy's sealed on the shelf.
right. So you just got to buy another used copy then,
Well, yeah, it's a
or just buy a digital, or buy a digital.
used copy and a new copy, so I probably would if I wanted to play it again.
I guess if it's a game that I bought for MSRP on launch, like $60 for one, and if it is a game I legit want to play, I would probably open that, even knowing like it, I could sell this and get $200 for it. But I guess if it was like $100 used and I was going to play it, I would probably then sell that sealed copy and then pick it up for $100, and I just made profit and got this game for free essentially.
Totally makes sense.
You've
Absolutely.
been paid $100 to open your copy.
Yeah, as long as that used copy looks like it was one that was just opened and never played, as if that was my copy that was sealed originally.
Right.
One thing I wanted to bring up is open limited run games. Now, open limited run games are way rarer than sealed limited run games. You go on eBay, you'd struggle to find any limited run title opened, because most people don't open their games. So because of this, the price of open limited run games is basically the same price as the cheapest sealed copy online, which I find is quite interesting.
That
And
is.
like, especially that mentality, like, I've got to keep these sealed. Where I've opened a few of my limited run games, and now I'm selling a few of them, and I'm selling them for the same price as the sealed copies, maybe a couple of dollars less, because it's the only way to get that game. Like, it's
Nice.
not, doesn't make it a cheap game. because it's open. Where if you got a AAA game that's done 100,000 copies and only 100 are sealed and 99,000 are used, then the price is going to be way different. But I find that whole limited print thing interesting, that we all keep our limited run games sealed, but the price is about the same between the used ones and the sealed ones.
Love how you bring this up because for the last month or two, my local game store, they've had limited run games in on PS4, and they were all opened. My camera's not working again. I hate this thing so much.
Microphone
And-
sounds fine. That's all right.
Yeah, at least that is good. If that was screwed, then oh my god, I'd feel horrible for you guys. But and for like the prices that I paid for them at that store, they were going for like what people would suggest on like price charting. So they were much cheaper compared to if I bought an open one online on eBay. And I find it strange, like they seem to like get them in. I shouldn't say often, but like they get them in enough at a regular basis to where I'm like really confused of like the people bringing that stuff into the store to get rid of. you, I'm sure like you people, you did your research on this to pick it up because you really want it, and no, you're just suddenly getting rid of it, and it's open too. That's strange. Like the ones that I've got recently was Rogue Legacy on PS4 and Super Meat Boy, the newest one. I can't remember the name of the sequel, and Time Spinners on PS4 as well too.
Nice.
So it seems like if you find them in local stores, they'll be more reasonably priced and like a better deal, especially if your local store has like any memberships to where you can get like a percentage off of stuff you pick up in the store.
Right. I think that Time Spinners is kind of high up there, isn't it, on price? Isn't it one of the higher?
It kind of is. It's around
Yeah.
maybe like a $50 game, whether if
Right.
it's sealed or open. I ended up
Mhm.
paying like, let's see, like $35 or $37 for it. So hell yeah, I'll get that. Plus, it's a Metroidvania game and looks really, really good.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. Hell yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, I've got a copy. I haven't played it yet, of course, but yeah, it looks really good.
Mhm.
Collectionist just brought up a comment that I wanted to mention. I opened my copy of Firewatch. Now, I opened mine too for the fact that I got the Heat Shrink seal. And there's a Y Shrink seal out there that's way more expensive because there is a certain amount of people that want to have a sealed Y seal full set of limited run games. So, there is a
Right.
market for that. It's probably the only limited run game where the sealed copy is significantly more expensive than the open copy, but only if it is that Y seal, not the Heat Shrink seal, which is quite
Yeah.
interesting to me.
Yeah, Firewatch and Rain World. I know they're really up there in terms of value on limited run PS4 games. So they're both like over $100 at least, even for open copies too.
Yeah.
I don't have either one of those.
Hey guys, you guys ready to play some Figsy Quiz?
Been looking forward to this.
I suppose. I'm gonna totally suck, man.
We start. Let's get up chat's question. I haven't updated the scores yet, so I'm not going to bring them up. I'll work out everyone's scores and I'll update them for the next show. But chat, here's your question for the week. Now, this one's tough. It's probably the hardest chat question you've had yet, so good luck. Mike and Desha, it's not for you guys to answer, and no hints either. This is just for chat. So, chat, your question of the week. We're looking for the video game. Really have to think outside the box for this one.
Even though it's a series I love, I don't know what hints you can come up with this. And if it's something within like their stories, oh my god.
really got to think outside the box to get this. Good luck.
Good luck to you guys. I'm glad I'm not a part of this.
Now, it will be open until someone gets it correctly. So if no one gets it right during the show, you'll have in the comments of the YouTube video up until next show. And then if no one gets it, we'll still use this next show. So good luck, guys. Before we get into the quiz, Mike, it's your first time on the show. Would you like to go first or second?
Yeah, sure. What the hell?
All right, Mike's going to go first. D-Street, you're going to go second. So once again, thank you to Pavel and Sylvan for setting up the quiz. We got a really fun quiz tonight, so this should be good, guys. Let's get into it with question number 1 for Mike. What U.S. state does Fallout 4 take place in? Is it Nebraska, Massachusetts, Maryland, or Kentucky?
Well, I know it's not. I know it's not Nebraska because I live right next to. There's no way it's that one. I'm going to say. I think it's between Massachusetts and Maryland. Those are what I'm looking at. I'm gonna say Maryland.
Incorrect.
Man.
Straight for the steal?
I'm gonna guess Kentucky.
Incorrect. So it was Massachusetts, and we did have Boston in the game. That was the hint.
I was so close. Almost did that. Almost.
Yeah, you had it, Mike. You just went the wrong 50-50.
I know. Damn.
All right, moving on to question 2. DJ, this one's for you. What country released PlayStation postage stamps in 2003? Was it Denmark, Croatia, Hungary, or Poland?
I'm going to say Denmark.
Wasn't Denmark. Mike, for the steal?
I'm going to say Poland.
Correct answer was Poland.
Oh, all right.
Well done.
All right, moving on to question number 3. Mike, this one's for you. I'm going to show you the Japanese cover of a PS3 game. You have to tell me what game it is.
Oh, wow. It had American release.
It did have an American release.
Is it Watch Dogs?
Not Watch Dogs. Good guess, though. D-Street?
Judging by the PlayStation Move banner,
Ooh.
I'm going to guess Time Crisis Rising Storm.
Good guess with the PlayStation Move. You're on the right track. It was SOCOM 4. SOCOM Special Forces in Paris. And before we move on to question 4, I have a bit of an announcement because we don't just have a correct answer, but Mario has been the first person to get to 5 points, and he will win himself a prize by correctly naming today's game as Neo. Tough, but he named it when it used each Final Fantasy game's letter corresponded with its order in the alphabet. So, well, Mario, send me a message and I will organize your prize, man. Congratulations. You are the winner of Figsy's quizzes for the guests. Well done.
Holy crap.
Good news.
That's impressive.
That guy's good.
So guys, we will be restarting the quiz for you guys in chat. We will do a new format. So stay tuned for the next podcast for that. And send me a message, Mario, and I'll organize your game, man. Well done. All right, moving on to question 4. D-Street, this one's for you. What country is this God of War collection from?
That is... Is that from Japan?
Incorrect. Mike?
Oh, man, I should know this. France?
So that is from China.
Oh!
That's the Chinese God of War collection cover.
Oh, Damn. Okay.
All right, I got a quick score update. So at the end of round 2, Mike's got 1 point. D Street's yet to get on the board. Still anyone's game, guys. Moving on to question number 5. This one is for Mike. What famous American actor can you play as one of the 39 survivors in the Dead by Daylight video game?
What famous actor?
Hey, Mario, just send me a message on Discord too, man. That'll be the easiest one.
What famous actor? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. I don't know this one.
Pass it over to D Street.
I would say, is it Sigourney Weaver as Ripley?
Wasn't. We were looking for Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
Huh.
wow. Huh.
All right, moving on to question number 6. D Street, this one's for you. Now, I'm going to show you an advertisement poster. You have to tell me what game it's for.
Oh,
God, they were
wow.
risque with their posters back in the day.
They were so much back then, yeah.
I think I've seen this.
It is a PS1 game. Is it Destruction Derby?
Whoa, good guess. It wasn't Destruction Derby, though. Mike?
Twisted Metal?
Also a good guess. The answer we were looking for, though, was Wipeout.
Wipeout.
Damn.
That's completely different than what I would expect Wipeout to look. Huh. Was that like the first Wipeout game?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the
It
first
has to
Wipeout
be,
game.
which was a launch title for the PS1, believe it or not. I think in some countries it was.
I'm moving on to question 7. So this round will be our picture round, like chat's question. So, Mike, here's your photo for the week. I'm looking for the video game.
Super Smash Brothers.
That is Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, all right.
Mike takes another point. All right, D Street, here's your photos for the week. I'm looking for the video game.
Okay, 1 second. Camera issues. Oh, okay. So off with this kind of thing.
Give you another 20 seconds.
I have no idea. Mike, go ahead and guess it.
And
My
all
turn?
easy picture ones. Yeah, you're up, Mike.
I'm going to say Hogwarts Legacy.
Correct answer. Hogwarts Legacy. Mike takes another point. All right, guys. So at the end of question 8, Mike's got a lead of 3. D Street's still yet to get on the board. However, there are 15 points available in question 9. I'm not saying you'll be able to win them all, but there are 15 points up for grabs. And it's going to work a little bit differently to last week. We're not going to have strikes until the end. We're going to go through all 15 questions. We'll go in turns. D Street, you'll go first. You can pass, or you can try and guess. There's no there's no punishment for guessing, so you may as well. However, once we get through all 15, if you haven't got some, we will go back through, and then that's when we'll introduce the strikes. So we'll start off with number 1. So these are all going to be sounds from certain video games. D Street, here's your first one.
That's Metal Gear Solid, the alert sound.
Mhm.
All right, Mike, here's your one.
Hail to the king, baby.
Oh, Duke Nukem.
That's correct. All right, D Street, number 3.
Donkey Kong Country 1, When You Die.
Correct. Mike, here's yours. We'll play it one more time.
Is that Mario Kart?
Not Mario Kart. D Street?
Is that from Sonic the Hedgehog?
That is the sound you get when you clear a level in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
Nice.
I don't play Sonic games, but that sounded like it'd be from it.
All right, question 5. D Street, this one's for you.
Get ready, fight! KO. Double KO.
Is that from Guilty Gear?
Good guess, but it wasn't from Guilty Gear. Mike?
Would that be Virtual Fighter?
Not Virtual Fighter, so we'll come back to that one.
Hmm.
All right, question 6. Mike, this one's for you.
Do a barrel roll. Do a barrel roll.
Star Fox?
That's from Star Fox. D Street, this one's for you.
That's Resident Evil 4, 2005, When You Die.
That's correct.
Wow.
All right, question 8. Mike, this one's for you.
That's isn't that Contra?
That is Contra. Correct.
Yeah.
One of the
That's the
best
title
intro
screen.
sounds ever.
All right, D Street, you're up.
That's Baby Mario.
That's
From
correct.
Yoshi's Island.
Baby Mario. Mike, you're up.
Oh.
We'll play it again.
Oh God, I know I've heard this one. Is it is it Mortal Kombat?
Not Mortal Kombat. D Street.
Is that God of War?
That is God of War. I know you're going to be kicking yourself there, Mike.
Oh my God.
I have not played through any God of
Oh
War
my
game,
God,
but
I know.
that just sounded like Kratos.
Oh God, I can't believe I missed that. That's embarrassing.
All right, D Street. Before I play this one, I just want to reveal the scores are now tied at 6 apiece. So it is anyone's game, guys. All right, D Street, here's your next one.
Groovy. Groovy.
Is that Gex?
It's not Gex. Mike?
Earthworm Jim.
That is Earthworm Jim.
I was thinking of that at first.
All right, number 13. Mike, this one's for you.
Oh boy. Oh no, I've heard that. Oh man. Is that Legend of Zelda?
Not Legend of Zelda. D-Street, I'll play it again for you.
This used to be my notification ringtone, which is Super Metroid when you get an item.
Invaded.
I know.
The scores are now tied at 7 apiece. D-Street, here's your next one.
That's from Super Smash Bros.
That's correct. Mike, here's your next one.
Ooh.
Play it again. Oh man, I don't know that. I don't know.
Pass it to D-Street.
Is that Pikmin?
That is Pikmin, correct.
Wow.
Another series I haven't played yet.
All right, so we're going to get back to Mike. We do now have 3 strikes each, and we only have 1 question left to answer. So you each have 3 guesses on this one, starting with Mike.
Get ready, fight! KO. Double KO.
Is that Tekken?
Not Tekken. D-Street?
Is that Marvel versus Capcom?
It's not Marvel vs. Capcom. I think he's both got the genre. You just need to guess which franchise it's from now.
There's
Mike?
so many fighting game series out there.
Is it? I don't. I don't have a guess. I don't know.
D-Street? Any final guesses?
Is it King of Fighters?
Not King of Fighters. So I'm going to reveal that was from Dead or Alive. Mario again had it in chat.
Yeah. That
However, this week's
yes.
winner, with a score of 9-7, goes to D-Street. Well done, D-Street. Congrats, man.
Thanks.
All right.
And Mike,
Congrats.
thanks so much for playing Figure Quiz.
Good job. Good job.
Always fun, these
Just to
quizzes.
show how important that final round is now. You can be leading the whole way and it just doesn't
Mhm.
matter.
Is it 0 to a major comeback?
And again,
You do that
big
in the final round.
congratulations to Mario for getting 5 correct answers over 5 consecutive or 5 weeks. You've done really well to name them. They've been really tough. So well done, Mario.
That was so clever for those Final Fantasy ones. Like,
Yeah, that was
I was thinking it
Great
would have been
job.
something within like the stories for each of the games, but no, it's just in the title for the Roman numerals.
Hey, you're thinking
Yeah.
outside of the box, right?
I was thinking the 4 boxes had something to do with 4. I don't know.
You guys got any games you want to show off this week?
Oh, yeah. I've got a. I guess I could show a few.
Yeah, you start, mate.
Okay, well, I guess I'll show a couple of my recent pickups, I suppose. Latest was now here's something crazy that happened. Now this has never happened to me. Ordering from Limited Run. Okay, I was waiting on these two. I was waiting on these two games. They're VR titles, but I had my Swordsman being held up by the Sam and Max, and so I got the package from Limited Run. Now they sent me the Sam and Max here.
Yeah.
The PSVR here. They sent me that, but then instead of the Swordsman, they sent me the Sam and Max for the Switch.
So you got an extra.
Yeah, I didn't get my freaking Swordsman. They sent me Sam and Max on the Switch, so I'm like, crap. So, instead of going through the hassle, I hear it's a hassle with those guys trying to straighten out the order. I went ahead. I went online and went and got my Swordsman. I bought it off this dude off of eBay, so I got that, and he gave me the two cards with it, which was nice. The gold and the
gold card, nice.
Yeah, he gave me two cards with that. So the gold and the silver card. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool because sometimes you only get one card, sometimes you get two. So
yeah. So even though that's the first time Limited Run has actually screwed up an order for me. So
I've had it happen before. I ordered, and it was when I ordered multiple games, and one of the games was wrong. And it's like I didn't buy this game. Same with the game I paid money for.
Right. And the thing is,
send it back to them. Blah blah blah. It's a big process.
Yeah, you try to save on shipping, right? So you order two, right, to save on shipping, but you may have to wait on one, for the other one to get made, and they'll ship them both. So another one I got was Quake for PS4.
Nice.
Quake for PS4 came with a card, and this other one, Blood Rain Betrayal, Fresh Bites.
Yeah, that's one that I missed out on. I wanted. I'll try and pick up for Video Game Plus at some point.
Right. They usually make reprints or whatever for those. So
you can keep an eye on VG Pluses. Randomly, they'll just have restocks of Limited Run games that you can't get orders from them anymore.
Right.
So you may still
I
have
got
a chance.
Play Asia games at the moment that have been sold out for months, which is crazy,
Mm-hmm. But that Quake 1 and the Blood Rain, all the Blood Rain games, I got those physically on a PS5.
I actually got my copy, my other Blood Rain through Video Game Plus because I missed out on Limited Run. And it was cheaper to buy it through Video Game Plus with their cheap shipping than if I bought it through Limited Run. So go for it.
And if you got a coupon through them as well, it could be cheaper as well with their rewards program they got now.
Yeah, Video Games Plus, I really like those
free and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they ship all their stuff in boxes, not like Limited Run, the little bubble mailer. They always ship them in boxes, nicely packed. Yeah, those guys, those Video Games Plus, those guys rock. They do it.
Collection for a good price.
Right, absolutely. Here's another one.
PlayAsia's always done. I've been buying for PlayAsia almost since 2013, and even back 10 years ago, they used to ship stuff in a box. Even if you bought one game, you got a box.
Right. I remember that. Limited Run always shipped in boxes.
Now you have to pay an extra $2.
Right, and then it went to the damn bubble mailers, and of course, so most of the time you get your game, that thing's rattling around, right? Everyone's getting their shit rattled, so. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but here's another game, Proteus. I recently picked up.
I want to get that one. That one looks really interesting.
Yeah, this one looks really cool. It looks looks really fun.
Joe and Reggie were both raving about it, so I need to pick it up at some point.
Yeah.
Mm.
Here's another one, Signalis.
That's one that I have to own. That's basically like a callback to older survival horror games, and I think it has like its narrative is similar to Silent Hill, which I am
Yeah,
all
yeah, this
over that.
right. It
Like
looks
I
really
just
good.
played through Rule of Rose for the first time like 2 days ago.
Ooh.
I beat it, and
Oh, nice.
wow, that the narrative in that game was phenomenal. It was straight up Silent Hill inspired, and it made me have the feels when I figure out what was going on. But it was good it was worth it to suffer through the gameplay that was really really jank, but still very happy to finally play through that game now.
I've yet to play that. Yeah.
It's worth it for the story.
That's an experience that not many people would get to have.
Oh,
Yeah, that
officially
expensive.
at least.
Yeah.
Here's one I picked up from Japan. Metal Dogs.
Oh, that's
That cover.
Yeah, this cover. Yeah, I saw this. I had to have this. Yeah, Metal Dogs. It looks pretty cool. And the thing is, this is Japan exclusive. You can't buy this on the American PSN. You cannot buy this.
Has it got
Yeah,
English on the spine too, man?
Yep. English on the spine.
Yeah, so I like Japanese games like that because you can put them on the shelf.
Yeah.
Still know what they are.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of what's that one game you play as a dog? It's the one that
Tokyo
came in the
Jungle.
compilation.
Yeah, Tokyo Jungle, that's the one.
Tokyo Jungle, right. And here's one that now this has got an interesting deal. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but this kind of came to my attention this last month, and I didn't know anything about it, but I bought another copy of Days Gone. Okay, now the thing is with this Days Gone, now this is a re-release. Now the only way to tell it's a re-release is because it doesn't have only on PlayStation on the top.
That's right.
What it is, Sony put a sticker. It's just a blue PS4 sticker. It's just a blue PS4 sticker right over the original case. But the thing about this release is, yeah. And the thing about this release is, it's got the latest. Firmware on it, like the update on it.
Yep.
So you get the latest update on here with all the bug fixes and everything. Because if you remember when this game first released, it had all kinds of issues, right? Bugs and all
a
this.
lot of issues I heard. Yeah.
Right. Well, this is the re-release, and the only way to find it, and I had to look quite a bit to find this, because if you go through eBay, there's all of them that's got the only on PlayStation. But if you look closely, look for that little sticker on the top that's covering it, and that'll be the updated version.
And I can kind of see it. There does seem to be a sticker covering that
Yeah,
top right portion. Yeah,
that's
you could
true,
clearly
yeah.
see it right there.
It is a sticker.
At first, I thought is because hey, it's no longer only on PlayStation; it's also on a PC as well. But that's
Yeah, you can
so
really see it
weird.
there. Yeah, it's
So
a
while we're
sticker.
talking about content on the disc, there was a study that came out this week by a company that they play every PS4 game and they assess, is all the content on the disc? Do you have to download it? Does it work? So they came out with stats this week. It says 70% of all PS4 games work completely fine without the internet. That's awesome. 16% work fine, but they're missing minor content, so they recommend patching them. And then 14% of games require mandatory downloads or are online. It mightn't sound like much, but when you want to talk about 14% of like 3,000 games, you're talking like 400 or 500 games. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and most of the games that fall into where the whole game is on the disc would be like indie releases. The ones that require downloads is like garbage, like Modern Warfare 2 or the soon-to-be released Modern Warfare 3. Like, they're not going to have anything on the disc, because they did that last year with COD, and I haven't bought a COD game since Advanced Warfare like a decade ago, because screw that company.
Today, those numbers look good, but what worries me is we're still in the PS4 life cycle. That 70% is going to drop down to 50%, 30%, 20%. And we know it's coming, you know. Look at just today got announced that, and this is crazy, WWE 2K22, the online servers are going down.
Yeah.
You can still play SmackDown versus Raw 2009 on
That's
no,
crazy.
2007 on the original Xbox or something online. You can't play the new one on fucking PS5. Like,
I
this
can
is-
get on my modded PS2 and play Twisted Metal Black online through custom made servers. That's, you can argue that has like longer lasting support. Like, it's unofficial now, but I could still go and play that online if I want. That WWE game, you can't. It's what, a year and a half old? Modern gaming, people.
Right.
You know what it'll turn into? It'll be sport games. Once the year is up, that sport game's not going to work anymore. If you want to play online, you've got to get the new one, and that'll be their business model to make people buy the new one. I would love a company to come out and rival NBA FIFAs and only bring out one game, and every year they just completely redo the roster and give it to everyone for free. How good would that be? And it makes sense. Like, it shouldn't be. These games aren't doing anything different. All they're doing is updating the rosters. Give it to us for free and compete with the other people on the market and send EA broke.
Yeah, that's insane. They're discontinuing the servers. It's such a new game. But
And I
guess it's
swear, oh my god, my camera. It's like it looks like I'm asleep right now.
okay, I got a few more. I don't know how long we're going to go here, but I got
You know, mate, we got plenty of time.
okay.
I
Here's
barely
the
have anything anyways.
got the Annapurna collection.
Is that
I
the
bought
piece
these-
Oh, that's the second release of that. Yeah.
This is the set. This is the one off of I Am 8-Bit. This is not the single. This is the bundle thing. It's got sleeves in it, so it's got all the games on the back here. I haven't busted this one open yet, but you can see it's got
like What Remains of Edith Finch and
Right.
Or Wild
Tree,
Hearts.
Bucky Root. Yeah, some really good games on there.
Yeah, I had to have this. I think it was like a couple $100. I think you can still get this too. I think it's still on the web. They haven't sold out yet.
And there's a big box version of that, and it's gone for like $400 today, which is crazy.
Wow.
But it was a couple $100 when it first came out, so it kind of makes sense.
And some of my bigger buys from limited run, I don't do a whole lot, but this one I had to hit. I kind of like the whole rock and roll deal with this game, but I went ahead and bought this monstrosity, the Scott Pilgrim.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's got the lighted up stage and all that.
Yeah.
It's got the drumsticks and it's the total special edition. It's like a suitcase.
Oh, it's like a road case. That's cool.
Yeah, this thing weighs a ton. This thing is it weighs like 20 pounds.
I have
got
the
that.
Persona 3 portable collector's edition pre-ordered for them, and that does look like it comes with a big suitcase with everything.
It does.
in
If you watch the unboxings, it's stuffed full of stuff. You know, it's got all kinds of jack in there. So
Mhm.
They delayed it long enough. I hope it's worth it.
Better be. It's
yeah,
Persona.
yeah. It took a couple years to get that. But
Which is crazy to think, like a couple of years wait. Like, what other industries is that acceptable? Well, you know.
It's insane.
and here's another thing I had to wait a couple years for.
I was going to mention that one.
Yeah.
Castlevania Requiem Collector's Edition is beautiful. It's probably one of the nicest ones they've done. The
Mhm.
steelbook
is.
in there is amazing.
And the thing is, the only reason why I got this was because it was only for PS4. They didn't come out with the Switch on this. This is a PS4 exclusive. So I'm like, I gotta get that.
Yeah, so
Doesn't-
Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood, they're not on the Switch. They're still PS4 exclusives for like
No,
this
yeah,
re-release
fine.
bundle.
But you'd have to say at this stage, I'm sure Limited Run are trying to get a Switch copy, trying to get a PS5 copy. You know what they're like.
Mhm.
Oh, they're trying. Yep. Okay.
But no, I thought that one was a sleeper. Like, I expected Symphony of the Night on PS4 to be the craziest release that they done yet. And it didn't seem to be as crazy as I expected. Like,
No, in
even the
fact,
Castlevania
there is
collection-
sealed copies of just the standard Castlevania Requiem at my local game stores still, and it's like you can pick it up for $40. And even then, when I see newsletters pop in my email of some of these online stores that are getting restocks of these limited run games, once in a while I see Castlevania Requiem and the classics collection as well too. At least good as people do have a chance to pick it up because it's Castlevania, for God's sakes. There should be way more prints of these collections. It's kind of sad limited run are the only ones that did that, but
Well, I know in America you guys can pick up a Castlevania Greatest Hits for under $150. But if you want to play it in Australia on PS1, copies go for $500.
yeah, that's the PAL version you have. It's one of the most expensive PS1 games you can buy over
But
there.
it's expensive for a reason because it's an amazing game. Like you talk about people in their 30s and their 40s, their favorite game. Half of them are going to say Final Fantasy VII. The other half will say Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yeah. On top of that, Symphony of the Night, when it first came out, it didn't sell well, unfortunately, even though it was a Castlevania game, but it wasn't heavily pushed compared to other games because it was a 2D game, and Sony at the time, they were heavily pushing any 3D-based games, of course, because it was brand new at the time. They wanted to really push the tech, so Symphony of the Night just went under the radar for quite some time, but it is nowadays loved game.
Stands up on the greatest of all goats.
Mhm.
But that's the thing. Standing the test of time is such an important thing for video games because it can be an amazing game, but if it doesn't hold up in 10, 15 years down the line, that's how people will remember it.
But if you take 79, if you told me when I first heard about that game today, if you had told me it released like a few weeks ago, I would believe you. It holds up so well as all 2D games normally do.
Absolutely.
You got anything else to show us, Mike?
Oh yeah. I got a few. I'm gonna bust out a couple of heavy hitters here, bud.
I would love to see the heavy hitters. You know it.
I know you'll appreciate this one. This one I've had for a while here. I got on a pretty good deal here. This is the I know you know about this one.
Ooh, yeah.
Drakengard 3 Collector's Edition. That's
Dragon Guard 3 Collector's Edition. You could only buy this off the Square Enix store. So, and this actually comes with a physical copy. And the thing about it is the physical copy actually is different artwork than the regular release. It's got different artwork, so kind of makes it unique in that aspect.
I always wanted the American version, having the PAL, but yeah, it's one of those things that if you didn't buy it when it was $500, you're not going to buy it when it's $1,000.
Right. Well, I got it when it was still relatively, you could still buy it. I mean, even in the secondary market, I still got a pretty good deal on it because I got it before it got way out of control. So, of course, I got these two here. You know about these.
Very nice.
both
Will-
American versions for
Yeah,
Will of
both.
Rose.
Yeah, both American.
Nice.
The white sucks.
Are they sealed or are they just in your protective sleeves?
No, these are open, but they're in really minty condition. I got these quite a while ago, but I still one of those deals I haven't got around. But now there's a story behind this one. This one is factory sealed.
Ooh, yeah, nice.
Now this one is factory sealed. It's still got the price tag on it. I
love
won this. I won this off an eBay auction. Still sealed. I won it off an eBay. Yeah, I won it off an eBay auction. I got real lucky. Got this for $125 sealed. This was like 8 years ago.
I was gonna say if that happened recently, like
Yeah,
dumber
No,
people who want
yeah.
haunting
This was
ground.
It kind of sucks that the price tag is right on her face, right? And I've kind of kicked this around. I've been contemplating whether to get this graded, but I'm not into that grading thing. I just
Don't
never.
bother. It's
Yeah,
that
I never
whole
got.
field
I
is
never got. If
toxic
there was one
IMO.
game I was going to get graded, it would be this one. But to hell with that. I'm not. Yeah, I don't need to do that. So
Unless you were going to sell it down the line, I don't think there's any reason to, you know.
No.
yeah,
You
Here's
don't
a-
need confirmation from others to figure out like how much you didn't open your copy, for Christ's sakes.
right.
Or if you trust, you grade it and it comes back with a 5 or something. You don't want to keep a 5 or a 6. You only want a really high grade, right? So I'd be reopening it again.
Hmm.
Right. Here's a copy of Tulip. I'm kind of glad I got this one. This one's
Nice.
gone up. This one's gone up quite a bit.
Awesome
yeah.
artwork, though.
The next
Yeah.
game that the developers of Rule of Rose made, Punchline, and those were the only 2 games they made under that name, Rule of Rose and Culip.
Yeah, it's a whacked out game. You can still download this off the store.
On the PS3 store, you can still get
Right,
it.
on the PS3 store, it's still there. So here's a sealed copy of Mr. Mosquito.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
one
still
of my
sealed.
local. Oh, it's even got that whatever that tag thing on the very top of the case. I always love.
It's got the little tag on it. Yeah, it's still sealed.
I love it when open copies still have that. That
Right.
people they just like did a perfect cut for where the case opens up and that whole tag is still there. My copy of
Yeah, I like
Skygunner
those.
has that still.
Same with Xbox 360 games when they still have it on the spine and you can't even tell it's been opened. They've done it that cleanly.
Hmm.
Here's a sealed copy of Killer 7.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Bringing out all the big games. Let's go.
Yeah. Of course. Oh, here's. Yeah. Okay. I suppose okay. I got a story behind this. So, okay, I got a sealed copy of Lost in the Rain, right?
Nice.
And I kind of forgot I had this. At one point, I totally forgot I had this. So when another one came up on auction on eBay, I went ahead and bought another one. So now I got 2 sealed copies.
Oh my God.
I got
it's
2.
gone for like $1,000 today, Mike.
Yeah, I got 2 sealed copies of this because I totally forgot I had the one. I wouldn't have bought the second one, but I think I think at the time the second one was like $125 or something like that. So I mean, it was still within reason, right?
Yeah.
But so now I've got 2. So yeah, I think you can still download this on the store, right? I'm pretty sure
You
it's
can,
still on
yeah.
the
You can still get Rain.
$10 where used copies are going on eBay for $700 or $800. So if you just want to play it, it's a great game too. It's not one of those games like Africa which aren't that good. Lost in the Rain is fantastic. Like it's expensive because it's great.
It's one of the rare times. Good. And of course, you saw this one. I posted this.
Nice.
It's a double pack.
I was after this one for a long time.
Me too.
I
I was
finally,
up so long.
oh my God! It took me 5 years to find this, and one finally popped up, and I was able to.
If anyone in chat's after a copy, one of my buddies has got copies for sale. So send me a message and I'll hook you over to the seller.
Nice. Nice.
Do they come on 2 separate discs or is it all on one
No,
disc? For
one
It's
this?
all on one
Manual
disc.
is actually split in 2. So it's a manual that
Oh,
has
really?
both of them on one. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was it's only a South American exclusive, right? I'm pretty
No,
sure.
it was a Mexican exclusive.
Mexican exclusive. Oh, okay. I
That's
got you.
weird.
Your copy
Yeah.
sealed, Mike?
No, it's not. It's not. It came in like minty condition though, because there was one on eBay where it had some real bad water damage, and it just recently sold, so someone bought it. But this
Yeah.
one was in really minty condition. And of course, I switched out the case and did all that jazz too. So, of course, you remember this, there, the big raw one.
All right, well. Today, that is so hard to find because, like Rahul's can't find copies anymore. He's working outside. He's not in India, and I'm having so many people message me. Have you got RE1? Have you got RE1? And it's that one game that's like, sorry, I don't. And copies haven't showed up for a while now. The one
Yeah,
seller
there was
that
like
had them
for
hasn't got them in anymore.
a while there, they were popping up all over the place, and people were picking them up. There was several of them, and people
Yeah, there
were
was
picking them
one
up.
seller. He had like 40 copies, but they're all gone now. So
Right.
once they're gone, and if you got to think if only one seller's got them, then he might have a lot, but it's only one person.
Yeah, it was freaking crazy. Of course, here's a sealed copy of JoJo's.
Nice.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
isn't as exciting as it used to be now that it's been reprinted.
right now the PS4 came out, right? And of
Mm.
course, this one's always kind of sought after.
That's the Korean copy. That's the harder one to find.
Pixel
Yes.
Junk 3-in-1. Huh.
Pixel Junk. Yeah, it's got these 3 games on the back. This
So
one
that's
was
interesting because that's the only PS3 game that didn't get a Japanese, North American, or PAL release. It only got a Chinese, Korean release.
yeah, this is the Korean copy. It's got the A on there, right there.
And it is an early life cycle game because it's got the
Right.
Matafont style
That's fine.
logo on the left.
Right.
I like that Monsters game. It's like a reminds me of like a tower defense type game, like tower defense balloons or something. It was fun.
Oh, of course. Yeah, gotta have Aquanauts. Japanese copy.
That's another one that is such a
Asian
fun
English.
game to play. It's really
Mhm.
relaxing. It's one of those games that you can just pick it up, play it at any time, and you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, I have the Japanese version of it, which is fine enough for me personally.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You can still play the Japanese version. All you're missing is the text, which is just information about coral and fish and stuff. It's not like you're missing out on much.
No, not at all.
And I don't have the Australian version, Figsy. I only got these 2.
Not yet. Not yet.
I only got these 2, and TJ helped me get these long time ago. So that's the 2 3D collections. So
Are those like demos of games?
No. So
Yeah.
they include 4 games. So you get Wipeout HD, Pain, Super Stardust, and Motorstorm Pacific Rift. And they're all on the disc, like all 4 of them.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Like I know I've seen that on your channel before, Figsy. Like it's possibly the rarest or second rarest game on the PS3 in a lot of countries. I just never knew about it.
I still hold the Australian version as the rarest PS3 game. I know of 11 copies that exist, and that's
right.
in my
I'd say
opinion.
it's the Australian version is probably the rarest next to what NBA Elite.
Well, I've seen more copies of NBA Elite, so that's a
Damn.
more expensive game, but I've seen more copies of it. So
Yeah. All right. And I heard D Street talk about this last podcast, and I had to say, well, that's the version I got when I got my PS3. This one here.
The MGS4. Nice.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
So
This is
so
when I got
beautiful.
my PS3. Now this was the backwards compatible. It had the four jacks and all that. So that
was
and I-
basically the last run they did of that model,
Right.
for the MGS4 bundle. And when that bundle sold out, they stopped making that version of the system overall.
Right, and I remember when it first came out, there was like a little small window, and I remember when it first came out, I called all around town. I called like every store and everything. Nobody had them. And I came down to the last one. Walmart up a ways away had one. So I raced up there and got it,
Nice.
and I never seen it again. I've never seen them again. So yeah, I went up there. I was able to. Yeah, I felt pretty lucky to get that. So, and it
Especially
still
if you
runs to
get
this
it.
day. Still
Nice.
runs great. Yeah, it
Nice.
still runs great. Even though I usually use my Super Slim most of the time now. So
Mhm. Maybe consider
But,
getting it repaced to make sure it's still in very good shape for years to come at least. But then again, it's like one that I would try not to use it almost at all if possible.
you're right, and that's what I don't think I'm ever going to use it again. I've got it covered in plastic, and I haven't touched it in probably 5 years. So
Wasn't
But
old enough to have
just
an
doesn't make
income to
sense
buy
to
it, and parents couldn't afford a PS3 at the time. So I unfortunately had to completely miss out on that. But whenever I have that much disposable income to buy random Metal Gear crap, that'll be on the list to consider.
And the thing is, I usually don't have disposable income like that to buy a new system like that, but I think it just happened to. It was like right around tax time. I got my taxes back, and it was it was like June or July. I just got my taxes back, and I was just so for it. Just all came together. I was able to land it. So yeah, I was pretty happy about that. So
Yeah.
and then of course
that's
I've got
cool.
my. I went and I got the God of War PS4, the PS4 Pro God of
Mhm.
War edition. Yeah, and I went ahead and bought a 8 terabyte hard drive. So I've got like 200 games on that thing, and it's still like not even halfway full. So
Nice, man. Meanwhile, my PS4, I've got like 4 games on there, and if I want to play something new, I'm gonna delete something to play.
right. Now, don't they make external drives for the PS5 though? Don't they? I mean,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're
you can
still
use any
expensive. I'm not
external
gonna lie.
drive on the PS5. Just keep in mind if you use a standard hard drive, not an external SSD, it's going to slow down the UI of the PS5, which is why I want to consider getting a PS4 Pro just like the system, put in an 8 terabyte SSD when that's cheap enough, and then use that to play the majority of PS4 games. The only time I'll have PS4 games on PS5 is if it's those few titles where it is a PS4 game, but it has like an update for extra performance from the PS5. Those few games that came out throughout like 2019, 2020, what have you. So that's the only time I would use PS4 games on the PS5 because, yeah, I want to get that because this 8 terabyte external drive on my PS5, it just slows down the system, and yet the read write speeds that the system can do, at least like 5,500 megabytes a second, like I want to utilize that. I don't want to deal with 200 megabytes a second for everything to read, and I can start using the system.
I'm thinking, D-Stray, like, I'm probably better off deleting my games than having to suffer through, like, a slow UI.
Mhm.
It doesn't take long to install a game, and, it's not like you lose your...
It doesn't. I just like to have everything installed. And hey, if the day that a game suddenly disappears off the PSN store, I can't re-download it, well, it's still on this external drive at least. That's my philosophy, at least.
I got a couple of things I wanted to show you guys this week.
Yeah.
So I like to collect POW and NTSC, especially when there's differences in the releases. So one of them on the PS3 is North America got the Darksiders collection all on one case. So we've got Darksiders 1, 2, and the DLC on this. POW got the collection as well, but the POW collection's in a double pack. So the POW collection came with the 2 cases. It doesn't have... And it does have the DLC. But yeah, it's just interesting to see how 2 different regions got 2 completely different releases. They're both really cool, but yeah, worth picking them both up.
Nice. That's pretty common with these double packs in the North American. They got the flip door, right? Most of these double packs they got like that flip door. Where it's the 2 disc and one case.
Like the Mass Effect collection and different things like that.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You got anything you want to show off this week, D-Street?
Let's get like 3 things I can show here. So one thing that I am waiting on a limited run is the last Shantae game on PS5, which is just Shantae GBC, because I have like this set here, which has like all the 4 games that currently have, though I think they have shipped out just the standard copy of Shantae on PS5. Just I ordered mine alongside with the collector's edition of it. So as you know, like you have to wait till everything is ready to ship. But when that comes in, and hopefully by the time the statue or the figure that they had up for pre-order on Limited Run site to celebrate Shantae's anniversary, I have that pre-ordered. And if you remember, if you got all of the collector's editions of the PS5 Shantae games, they come with those acrylic standees that they will fit in this statue, and you'll make it look really, really cool. I can't wait to get that because I love Shantae so much. It's another one of those things like with DDLC, love the game so much that I buy multiple copies of it and have them sealed too.
Do you buy the skateboards?
No, I'm not into skateboarding at all. And plus,
Yeah, you
those
gotta
things
be
would take up
hardcore to buy those boards. I'm like, holy crap! Isn't there like
They were
5 of them?
interesting releases, weren't they? Like
those were so random that they had up there. My camera's not working again. My local game store has the one for Pirate's Curse at their store. I don't plan on buying that, but hey, the store has it. It's not letting me change the resolution to fix this thing. Maybe I'll come back to it eventually. Yeah, I'm just gonna have it blank for now. God damn it! And I can't show you shit here. Gotta hate.
Yeah, I think that little cardboard cover thing, I think that's going for like $50 on the secondary market or something.
Maybe
Yeah,
the
I-
Switch
yeah.
version
and then I
is.
decided that I wasn't going to collect all of them, so I sold it for $50 or $40.
Yeah. I actually I got one of them cardboard cover things just because I thought it was cool, and it was only $10, right? But now you got scalpers selling them for 50. I'm like, bam.
The Switch version is way, way more expensive. But
Oh,
the
really?
one other
Oh.
thing that I wanted to show, but technical issues because StreamYard's a piece of garbage right now. The one guy that made it only does everything book for the PS3, Sandy Reap, was that his name, or Too Old for Gaming on YouTube. I just got in the mail the one magazine that he made, the unofficial retro PlayStation magazine.
Oh, the first issue. Nice,
Yeah, the
man.
first issue. So
Oh,
I got like the
nice.
magazine itself, and as well as like the extra things where it's got like this little booklet of photo mode, where it looks like pictures of mostly the new Spider-Man coming out, because it's all Spider-Man stuff in this booklet, and just other like little pamphlets of Siphon Filter, and an advertisement that hey, he makes custom manuals for games like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Kenya Bridge of Spirits, Bloodborne, Demon Souls Remake, and Elden Ring.
Yeah, and Vita games. If you guys want to get manuals for your Vita games, you can order them through his Etsy store, which is really cool. I mean, it's not games
Which
that
I
have
did
made-
get some
games
myself
that
for the
have-
Vita. He had some for Uncharted Golden Abyss and Persona 4 Golden, which I got because I love those games a lot.
And the manuals are really well done. Like they're like OG PS1, PS2 manuals again. They're pretty nostalgic.
Mm-hmm. And the only other thing that I was going to show is I haven't gotten like any new games. Is I really need to save money right now because
I hear you, bud.
Yeah,
but
so,
the other thing I got, and due to the last topic that we discussed, the last podcast I was on, I got the Midnight Black PS5 faceplates for the disc version.
ooh, nice.
Which
one.
is really the only faceplates I want for the system, because like my opinion, and I feel like a lot of people agree, black should have been the main color scheme for the PS5, especially
That
if
would have
you
looked way cooler.
Yeah.
much
Right.
cooler and more consistent with their previous consoles, because they all were black except for the PS1, of course. But yeah, that was the only thing. Speaking of faceplates, I don't know if you saw, but Best Buy, they did
my God.
announce that they were doing restocks of the Spider-Man 2 faceplates, but only on the mobile app.
Yeah, and you had to be a member, and I know people in my Discord were all trying to get it, and no one was able to order it. So it was a bit of a shit show.
I
wow.
was going to try to get it today, but it was yesterday. Okay, never mind. It was for the controller that went up for it today, which I don't care for. And the truth is, if I did get those faceplates, the Spider-Man 2 ones, when those come in, I would have just sat on those for some time and then resold them, because I didn't really care for them. But because it's a limited edition accessory that is just difficult to buy anywhere when it's not from Sony's store, and it's also a Spider-Man thing, like of course it's going to be valuable, and I would just like flip it one day. So
Right.
go call me shitty for doing that, but that's what I would have done
Well, I
if
guess
I
that's
was able to
why
get
they
it.
would have implemented the system to make it so hard to buy one. So, to prevent scalping and different things like that. Make it one per customer, etc.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I had nothing else ordered right now or to show. Just mainly
We
just a
might
bunch
call
of
that a
stuff on
night,
pre-order.
but-
But
It's been really good having you both on. D-Street, again, having you back on the show. And Mike, it was awesome having you on here, man. So thanks so much.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Hope to do it again.
mhm. It
And
was
Mike,
awesome
you don't have
meeting
any
you too, Mike.
social media pages? That's correct.
You know, all I got is the Facebook. You know, I had a feeble attempt at making a couple videos, PSVR collection videos, like a couple years ago. It was an ultimate fail, but I mean, they're so outdated now. But I don't know. I tried. I was like, I'll give it a shot. But you know, I think they're still up there if someone wants to see them. But yeah, that. But all I do is pretty much Facebook. So.
Well, if you want to get in touch with Mike, jump in the PS3 collectors group. You'll be able to find him in there.
Right. I'm usually in PS3, PS4. You know, usually bounce back and forth with those collector pages. So, and I'll post.
Go to subscribe to G Street on YouTube. He's getting close to 1,000 subs, so let's help him get to that number before the end of the year. That'd be awesome.
Right.
That'd be cool. Appreciate any support you throw my way. I know content's not always common, but hey, it's when I have time because I work a 8 to 5 job. So hope you understand. But doing my best to upload more content now that I have more time.
And as
Right
always, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you all next week.
All right. Peace, brothers.
Good night, guys.